Happy New Year, everyone! I'm Eurogamer's Ian Higton, and it's time once again for my yearly predictions video. We finally made it out of the hellscape that was 2020, but what will 2021 have in store for us all? Let's find out as I consult 9 video games set in 2021 to see what they reckon life will be like for us all as we take another step forwards into the future. If 2021 is going to go out of its way to try to outdo 2020 in terms of complete and utter bullshittery, a bunch of genetically engineered bioweapons escaping from a super secret research lab would be a pretty good way for it to go. And according to Degeneration, that's exactly what's going to happen when the genetically engineered poop hits the fan on June 27th of this year. Thankfully, it's not all bad news as, for now at least, the outbreak seems to be confined to the floors of the 80-storey GNOC building in Singapore. So, hopefully lessons learned in lockdown procedures should help contain the spread. But, to be honest with you, even if they do escape from there, I'm not sure it's worth worrying about them too much. These sad science experiments are literally the least threatening genetically engineered bioweapons I've ever seen, consisting of submarine periscopes, springy cylinders, and easily poppable bouncing balls. I mean, come on. There's not one gaping maw or giant plasma belching eyeball between them. Who engineered these things anyway? Playmobil? Oh, and as a side note, according to the game's opening blurb, the deserts of Kazakhstan are soon going to be a radioactive wasteland, so give those a wide berth if you're planning on heading that way anytime soon. I think it's pretty safe to say that the USA got up to some incredibly bonkers stuff in 2020. But hold on to your hats, people, because in 2021, the land of the free is about to go even more off the rails. According to Nanobreaker here, 20 years ago, the US secretly established a science facility on a remote island in order to research and develop nanotechnology for implementation in military and civilian life. Imaginatively called Nanotechnology Island, this secret research base has been home to the finest American analytical minds from every field since its creation. Unfortunately, it's also home to the world's lousiest computers, because before long, a big crash is going to cause the nanobots injected into the island's population to malfunction and mutate their hosts into a very spiky species called the Orgamechs. And believe me, these man-made murder machines are way scarier than the angry shapes from Degeneration. Ugh, see? Told you so. Things aren't all bad though, because those bumbling brainiacs have also created a new type of weapon called a plasma blade, which, helpfully, is the only weapon that can deal any damage to these self-replicating robo-monsters. As far as I can tell though, all this chaos will actually be contained on Nanotechnology Island, so unless you've just accepted a new and classified job as a United States government-funded science bod, there shouldn't be too much to worry about. But if you have just accepted a new and classified job as a United States government-funded science bod, well, if I were you, I'd think about a career change ASAP.
Messed up.
While Dead Rising 3 does take place in 2021, it actually takes place 15 years after the initial Willamette outbreak, so for a zombie apocalypse of the magnitude we're seeing here to occur in the space of 1 year, something drastic is undoubtedly going to have to occur in 2021. Maybe those wacky anti-vaxxers have a point, and it'll actually be a COVID-19 vaccine that triggers a worldwide zombie apocalypse. Makes more sense than the Earth being flat, I guess. To be honest with you though, at this point, if it means being able to hang around in crowds again, even if they are undead, inject that stuff straight into my veins because I can't hack living the hermit lifestyle for much longer. I mean, look at all those people there just hanging out shoulder to rotting shoulder without a care in the world for anything but delicious Moorish brains. See you later, social distancing. Now where's my lovely vaccine? Heads up if you live in Rio de Janeiro, friendos, because Tom Clancy's Hawks reckons that in 2021 you're going to get invaded by Las Trinidad, an anti-US alliance PMC that is not very happy about the recent signing of a defence contract between your country and the United States. That's not the worst of it though, because after that series of kablamos and kablowies, another PMC called Artemis rocks up and, due to the US's involvement in PMC politics, it decides to knock out the US communications and intelligence satellites and launch a massive preemptive invasion of the United States. Bloody hell, a cranky PMC's the next big thing in fashion this year or something. And there I was, hoping it would be jorts. This completely unnecessary conflict will last a full 3 days and cause over 40,000 American casualties. But those arseholes at Artemis aren't done yet, because to top it all off, they're also going to try to detonate a nuclear warhead that they've had smuggled into Los Angeles. Jeez, have a day off or something. Don't worry too much though, because as long as everything goes the way that Hawks predicts it will, an elite ex-United States Air Force pilot named David Crenshaw will destroy the nuke with less than 1 minute left to go before detonation.
Right on target.
Whew, what a legend. Get that man a clean pair of pants, stat. I suspect he'll be needing them. Normally when the sea turns black, it's due to some kind of man-made disaster, like an oil leak from a tanker or a rig or something. But according to the little-known mobile game The Drowning here, when the sea starts turning black in 2021, it's actually going to be the sign of impending Armageddon. If the predictions are true and the sea does start to turn black this year, it's not just poor birds and sea creatures that have to worry, because in 2021, anyone who comes into contact with this mysterious oily substance will turn into weird-looking skele-zombies whose only goal in life is to drag more of the living back down into the black. Oh man, I wish I'd researched this video before I booked a week's holiday at Butlin Skegness for this summer. I can't work on my tan and watch out for sea zombies, goddammit. I'm going to be this pasty forever. While these strange submersible creatures do look rather threatening, they do seem to be a lot weaker than your average video game zombie. They burst into giblets like meaty balloons after only a couple of hits, and you don't even need to make headshots, so hopefully this mess will be much easier to clean up than actual real-life oil slicks. Bloody humanity.
You let me sleep?
In the 2021 forecast by Johnny Mnemonic, the interactive action movie, human society has become deeply engaged in a virtual internet, and this has, unfortunately, caused a degenerative effect on our nervous systems. Oh God, as a regular Twitter user, I can feel that statement in my bones. Nerve attenuation syndrome, or NAS for short, will be caused by an overexposure to electromagnetic radiation from omnipresent technological devices. Alexa, play Cheeky Girls Touch My Bum. And in this game, which follows the movie pretty closely, NAS is presented as a raging epidemic that's affecting the entire world. So, kind of old news for us all then, really. Oh well, at least we'll also be able to make a bit of extra cash by becoming mnemonic couriers and turning our heads into portable hard drives like Poundland Keanu here. Just hope to God you don't get asked to store Call of Duty Warzone in there, because according to this game, the maximum capacity of the data storage implants is 80 gigabytes, and any leftover data will have to be uploaded directly into the brain, which can cause psychological damage and, gulp, death, if not removed within a few days. And what with the incomprehensible size of Warzone's regular updates, if you're going to do that, it's probably a good idea to get started on a draft of your will. Listen, I know things have been pretty heavy in this list so far, what with all the zombies, wars and brain-melting internets, but at least we'll have a brand new sport to look forward to. Oh, except that the 2021 that Scorcher here is set in is a dystopian post-war world, so I guess we'll have to live through some world-ending explosions before we can relax with a beer and a bit of future bike racing. Bloody hell, we can't catch a break, can we? As you can see here, the world is basically under a perpetual blanket of darkness, and the tracks, which have hope-inspiring names like The Dump and Radioactive Waste, are all set amongst what can only be described as the ruins of civilization. On the plus side, however, Scorcher's future bikes look super ridiculous, and they have the unfortunate ability of making their riders look like they're about to undergo an invasive rectal examination. So at least that should give us a little bit of a chuckle, if nothing else.
Let's begin the operation.
If you thought the name COVID-19 was a mouthful to say in 2020, wait until you hear the name of the disease that Trauma Centre Under the Knife 2 reckons will be treated to this year. In the Trauma Centre universe, gangliated ultra-thin immunolatency toxin, or GILT for short, is a man-made disease that has been plaguing the human race for the last 3 years, and even though it was thought to have been cured last year, this year it's coming back with a vengeance thanks to the resurgence of a terrorist group known as Delphi. Oh, for fuck's sake, terrorism, can you just, for once, not? I mean, come on, COVID-19 was bad enough, and now with a vaccine on the horizon, you're throwing this at us? Honestly, you're a bunch of bloody wankers, the lot of you. Thanks to those jokers, not only will past patients have to deal with something called post-guilt syndrome, but also everyone else will have to deal with 4 new neo-guilt strains that attack the human body with things like bursting tumours, internal hemorrhages, and pus-inducing inflammations. So basically, if you don't want to end up looking like a big old boil on legs, I'd suggest getting used to lockdown sharpish, because that stuff sounds nasty. Okay, this final entry is less of a prediction and more of a rescheduling, I guess, but if all goes to plan, Olympic Games 2020, the official video game, will offer a very accurate prediction of what to expect this coming July, allowing you to play through 18 of the 33 events that will happen in this year's real-world Olympics. Unlike last year, when you could play through 18 of the 0 events that happened in the real-world Olympics. Sad face emoji. Olympic Games Tokyo 2020, the official video game, was actually released in 2019, so it turns out that this game was really bad at predicting 2020, but I'm hoping it'll have better luck this year and that the Olympics will actually go ahead as planned. Although, after all the crap that went down in 2020, there's absolutely no way I'd put money on it happening this year. And that, my friends, is 2021 according to video games. To be honest with you, it sounds absolutely awful, but to be honest with you, could any of that really be any worse than what we've had to put up with in 2020? I don't think so, and to be honest with you, if by some slim chance we do get to see proctology bikes take off this year, I think I'll be able to live with a zombie apocalypse or two. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, do give it a like and do subscribe to Eurogamer for plenty more videos in 2021. Now, off you go and have a very safe and very happy new year. Goodbye.